In this session, welcome to the session on implementing MVC Design. In this session, you will learn to implement the controller design element by using a servlet, implement the model design element by using a simple Java class. Implement the view design element by using JSP and Expression language or EL. Connect the model, view, and controller elements to implement a working MVC solution. In the previous session, you learned that using the MVC architecture to resolve the separation of concerns is a good approach. It includes model, view, and controller. The controller manages the communication between the view and model. The view presents output to the user. It can be a JSP page or a servlet used as view. Finally, the model implements the business logic or application data with the help of simple Java classes. So, let's learn about the implementation of the MVC architecture. The whole process starts when a user sends a request to the server to access a web application. The web container within the web server invokes the controller in response to an HTTP request. The controller works as a manager for the view and model. It processes input and provides instructions to the view and model for the desired output. Therefore, the controller identifies the request details. As per the details, it selects a model to process the request and a view to present the results. The controller passes the request parameter data to the model to support the computation. It also passes the results from the model to the view. Finally, the response is sent to the user. As you know, that the controller selects a view to provide the result of the request. This invoking of JSP or view from the controller is known as forwarding. Let's learn how to perform forwarding from a servlet. To move forward from a servlet to a JSP page, create an object of request dispatcher by using the getRequestDispatcher method of the request object, and pass the name of the page as a parameter. Then, call the forward method with the request and response object parameters. In the displayed example, the servlet will move forward to the user.jsp page. Before performing the forwarding mechanism, a servlet can initialize a request attribute by using the setAttribute method of the request object. This attribute provides data to the called JSP page or servlet. Initialization of a request attribute creates an attribute map that provides access to the parameters of the HTTP request. The attribute map is directly accessible in both the servlet and the JSP page. Therefore, the values available in the map become available in both the servlet and the JSP page, as shown in the figure. The request attributes initialized in the servlet are available to the called servlet or JSP page. The servlet accesses the request attribute data by using the getAttribute method of the request object. On the other hand, the JSP page accesses this data by using Expression language or EL. The displayed figure shows the methods used by the servlet and EL used by the JSP page. As shown on the screen, servlet uses the request.setAttribute method to write to the attribute map. In addition, to read data from the map, the servlet uses the request.getAttribute method, and JSP uses $symbol followed by the attribute within curly braces. As you have learned about the concept MVC architecture, let's see a complete example to implement the architecture in the web application development. The displayed code shows the model implementation in a simple class named example model. This class has a data member named name of the string type and member functions. The setName method will initialize the name variable. The getName method will return the value of the name variable, and the getNameLength method will return length of the value of the name variable. The displayed code shows the controller implementation in a class named CNTRL example. This class is a servlet class, as it is extended from the HTTP servlet abstract class. In the doGet method, the name parameter is being fetched and checked. After the validation, it uses the example model class object and method. Then, it initializes the request attribute, named model. Finally, it forwards to the user.jsp page. The displayed code shows the Vue implementation in a JSP file named user.jsp. This file accesses the request attribute, named model, which is created in the controller, named CNTRL example. In this session, you learned that the controller works as a manager for the view and model and is implemented by using a servlet. The model implements the business logic and is implemented by using a simple Java class. The view provides an interface to the user to provide output and is implemented by using JSP and DL. The model, view, and controller elements need to be connected to implement a working MVC solution. Happy learning!